I once heard a preacher say, the Bible is God's love letter to you, which sounds sweet until you actually read the thing, because this so-called love letter includes genocide, silence, betrayal, God going eerily quiet, and a crucifixion so brutal you could smell the iron in the air. So today, let's ask, what if some verses were never meant to comfort us? What if Scripture is supposed to scare us a little? I'm Theology Jack, your guide in exploring life's biggest questions and mysteries. There's a verse I can't shake, Matthew 25. I was hungry and you gave me nothing to eat. It's Jesus talking about the final judgment. He's not quizzing people on theology, not checking if they prayed the sinner's prayer, not reviewing their tithing history or their Spotify worship playlists. He says, you didn't feed me. You didn't welcome me. You didn't visit me. And the people are confused. When did we see you? And Jesus said, whatever you didn't do for the least of these, you didn't do for me. This verse wrecks me because I've walked past unhoused people with my headphones in. I've scrolled past GoFundMe links and rationalized my inaction. And Jesus is basically saying, that was me. You ignored me. Not exactly footprints in the sand, is it? There's another one, Luke 18, the Pharisee and the tax collector. The religious man stands up front, praying, God, thank you that I'm not like those people. And the tax collector, he won't even lift his eyes. He just pounds his chest and whispers, God, have mercy. Jesus says he's the one who goes home right with God, not the guy with a theology degree, not the church volunteer, not the one with the Bible verse in his bio. And here's the kicker. He's not telling this to atheists. He's telling it to the righteous, the church crowd, the insiders. It's a parable for the people who think parables are for other people. That should scare us. Because what if we're not the heroes of those stories? What if we're the Pharisees with Instagram followings? What if we're the goats, not the sheep? What if we're the elder brother sulking outside while God throws a party for the prodigals? When I was 17, I found a Bible in a thrift store, marked up, dog-eared, held together with duct tape. The previous owner had written one sentence in the margin beside Revelation 3. You say you're rich, but you're blind. That verse, it's Jesus talking to the church in Laodicea. He says, you're neither hot nor cold. You're lukewarm, and I'm about to spit you out. The Greek word there is emeo. It means vomit. Jesus literally says, you make me want to throw up. This is not sweet. This is not sweet, Swedish Jesus holding lambs. This is God disgusted by apathy, by comfort disguised as holiness. It's brutal. It's visceral. It's honest. And it should make us all sit up in our pews. Here's the thing. We've domesticated the Bible, turned it into motivational quotes and mug decals. We cherry pick the verses that make us feel safe. Plans to prosper you. Peace that passes understanding. All things work together. But skip the context. Ignore the blood, and you lose the edge. You lose the invitation, because the Bible isn't supposed to be a security blanket. It's a scalpel, a mirror, a warning label wrapped in poetry. And some verses, they're meant to wake us the hell up. Let's take Amos. Nobody reads Amos. You're not going to find it on Pinterest boards. But in Amos 5, God goes off. I hate your religious festivals. I despise your assemblies. Even though you bring me offerings, I will not accept them. And then the famous line, let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. Sounds beautiful, but it comes after God says, shut up your singing. I'm not listening. Imagine that. God saying, your worship songs make me nauseous, because the people were singing while ignoring injustice, praising God while exploiting the poor. Amos wasn't writing to pagans. He was writing to believers, to the Sunday crowd. That should terrify us. There's a pattern here. The scariest scriptures aren't about atheists burning in hell. They're about believers who thought they were safe, religious people with calloused hearts, leaders who weaponize God. Ezekiel 34, God says, woe to the shepherds who feed themselves instead of the flock. I'm against you. He literally says that. I'm against you. That's the kind of verse you skip in your daily devotional, but maybe you shouldn't. Because what if God's anger isn't against sinners, but against the systems that keep them down? What if God's wrath isn't fire and brimstone, but a holy refusal to let oppression slide? That's not less terrifying, that's more. Here's where things started to shift for me. I stopped asking, what does this verse mean? And started asking, what is this verse trying to undo in me? Because some scripture isn't there to comfort. It's there to confront. Like Jonah, it's not about a fish. It's about a prophet who hated his enemies so much, he'd rather drown than forgive. God sends him to Nineveh. He runs, ends up in the belly of the sea. God spits him out. He goes, preaches, and Nineveh repents. The revivalist's dream, right? But Jonah's pissed because deep down, he wanted his enemies destroyed. And God says, should I not be concerned? That's it. That's how it ends, with a question, a cliffhanger, like God's asking Jonah, and maybe us, how big is your grace really? So what do we do with these verses, the ones that bite, the ones that feel more like curses than comfort? Maybe we let them do their work. Let them burn away the illusion that we're the protagonists. Let them crack the shell of certainty, because fear isn't always bad. Sometimes it's the beginning of wisdom. Not terror, not shame, but reverence, trembling, awe. The kind that says, I'm not in control. I don't have the answers. And maybe that's holy. Maybe scripture isn't a rule book. Maybe it's a rebellion, a protest against every power that claims to speak for God while ignoring God's heart. And the scariest verses, they aren't threats. They're mirror shards, truth-telling poems, holy gut checks. Because the Bible isn't afraid to expose us. It's just that we're afraid of being exposed. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm reading everything and might even include your ideas in a future video. And a quick reminder, click like just to be cool. And hey, if this is your kind of stuff, hit subscribe for more. It helps me so much. Let's map ideas that can change the world together. And thanks for watching till the end, fellow explorers. Stay curious and embrace the mystery. This is Theology Jack, signing off.